Hello everybody and welcome to another modern video. I'm going to be recording today with Amulet Titan. This is my current deck list right now, and I recently wrote a Sideboard guide for it, which if you are a patron or a subscriber on Twitch you can get access to. You can find that information in the description of the video down below. And this is the deck here. The card that I've been kind of impressed lately with is Phyrexian Metamorph. This card is pretty fantastic considering the current metagame that we find ourselves in the modern format. Black-Red Scam and Creativity are two of the top dogs right now, and this card is fantastic in both matchups. One thing that's also interesting about this deck is that it kind of allows for a better transition. So you're going to see that we actually have a couple of copies of Oblivion Stone in the sideboard. And one interesting aspect that this version of the deck allows you to do is you can cut your sagas entirely, and you can cut your cultivators, and then you can also even cut your amulets while you're at it, and then you end up with like a little bit of like a mid-range green ramp deck of sorts, and you can kind of play a control role thanks to Oblivion Stone, stuff like Endurance to fill in the gaps in the curve, and play a much longer game where you just have the superior late game thanks to Dryad and Valakut. Obviously Chaining Titans is not bad either. So that's what we're going to be playing in this league today. If you enjoyed the content, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. If you would like to support my content, you can do so, as I said, through subscribing on Twitch or Patreon. You can also support it directly with any donation of $50 or more. I will play any deck list of your choice in a video here on YouTube. And finally, if you're interested in coaching, I also offer that as a service. So check that out in the description of the video down below. And I'll see you for round number 1. All right, here we go, round number 1. This is an interesting hand. I do like that this hand is really robust. So this hand has the potential of putting a Titan into play on turn 4. I am on the play, so I'm going to keep this hand. The thing that I like about this hand in particular is that Boseiju represents interaction versus, like, let's say that we're playing against like Hammer, Hardened Scales or something like that. Boseiju actually represents interaction there. We also have Primeval Titans. That means that we're actually pretty good against Thoughtseize. And finally, we have like an end game in the Summoner's pack, so we can actually go find a Dryad afterwards. Here we just go for land. We really want to dodge Meddling Mage, though we may be able to beat Meddling Mage. It's going to be really tough, though. That's not the worst, actually. Again, being on the play being a big deal here. That's actually pretty good draw, because it guarantees that even if my Azusa gets dealt with, it kind of doesn't matter. We are going to be able to cast a Primeval Titan next turn. But obviously, we're playing against an aggro deck, and not having access to something like Boseiju or Kali Garden or Radiant Fountain is obviously going to be a potential problem. I'm gonna be taking a bunch of damage here just because I want to make sure I hit a bunch of land drops. Like, this Azusa still has value here. So hopefully my opponent has Reflector Mage and they use it now, as opposed to next turn to bounce my Primeval Titan. Adeline, who knows. This is fine. We're going to get to... Oh, we actually can't block here. That's kind of brutal. So we're going to take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Can I take that much? I think I actually can't. So next turn I play Primetime. I'm going to need to probably chump this. If I trade here, I make the Adeline a little bit smaller. And next turn I can go... Yeah, I think this is fine. Next turn I can go like Dryad plus Valakut. So I think what we do here is we just play Primetime and we're going to get double Valakut. And hope that this is good enough. The good thing is that it will be good enough unless my opponent like finds... If they have Reflector Mage, they just, get to kill this. But otherwise, we are just going to probably chump block the Champion of the Parish. Doesn't really matter. And then we're just going to attack with kill them with Valakut triggers next turn, because I am gonna get to Pact for Dryad. Yeah, so we're gonna Pact for Dryad, play a bounce land, bounce T-West. I don't think that really does anything. I guess it does something, like it just grows. Yeah, so my opponent, I think they just have lethal here, actually. Yeah, they just have lethal. Because I'm down to 10, I have to chump block here. Yeah. Man, this card actually added so much power to the board. It's crazy. got kind of raced there. All right, Engineered Explosives is great. Dismember is fantastic. I also like the Oblivion Stones. So those are the cards that I'm interested in. I think I can cut down a couple of Cavernous Souls. I don't think Phyrexian Metamorph is going to be particularly great here. I'm also kind of medium on Cultivator Colossus. Like, it's fine against Meddling Mage, but I probably can't really beat Meddling Mage anyway if he sticks around. And I think the last card I'm going to cut is going to be a Singleton Explorer. Alright, this hand is kind of interesting actually. We're missing a bounce land, which is kind of awkward, but we can find it off of this Saga. So I think this is okay. We're going to go Boseiju into Gracer into Tolaria West. There's an argument for going for Saga instead, the reason being it allows us to play around something like Knight of Autumn, though I don't think that the human decks are playing Knight of Autumn right now. So play Boseiju, play Gracer. Like, this is the kind of start that we kind of wish we had last game. I guess there's the potential for Magus of the Moon, but I don't think we can hope to beat that card anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. That draw is heinous. Really bad draw right there, unfortunately. Bounce Land would be my best draw. Bounce Land has the potential to win the game as early as the following turn. They just do nothing? They just do nothing, huh? I think I'm gonna play into Deputy of Detention. If that's something that they have, that's fine. Like, I'm just gonna lose to that, but I think that playing the second Rider has so much more value because it makes it so much better versus... My opponent has a Violent in the step, okay. So that makes it so much better versus my opponent having like a Reflector Mage. Let's see if they have the Magus. Oh yeah, that guy we can beat. That one we don't care that much about. I'm gonna take 3 here. My opponent can Vial something if they want to. Don't think I care too much. Untap. Dryad number 3. I think I have to get the Amulet here. I think it's just better versus what my opponent could have, and depending on what the top of my deck could yield. So now any bounce land effectively wins me the game. Man, I'm playing 31 lands here. It's a lot of lands. It's a lot of lands to not be hitting land drops. So here my opponent does this card has been so impressive, honestly. I've been facing the humans deck fairly often these days. Like, it seems like people are getting excited about it being back, and it's been this card has proved to be quite impressive. The fact that it gives everything both hexproof and indestructible is very, very strong. Secluded Courtyard. Okay, let's see what you got, opponent. There's the Reflector Mage. I'm assuming they're gonna bounce one of the Dryads. Yeah, so one of the Dryads comes back to hand. It's kind of nice that they don't really have that many great attacks here. Like, only the champions getting a good attack in. So this is basically trading the construct for... We're basically trading the construct for one of these. I guess I'm going to do it block like this, because they can't... Like, they can't buff here, right? I don't think. Because this is a 3-drop, and the other, like, the non-legendary ways to buff are... I mean, they can have another Reflector Mage, but, like, that's fine. I mean, I guess it isn't fine because, I mean, we still get our chomp on, but it isn't fine because, like, we don't get to do anything here. If we do find the bounce land, though, we're going to be able to pact for Dryad. Okay, that's not it. So we're going to be taking, how much? If I play a Gracer, I chomp here, we take 12. We're technically not dead. And next turn, we can pact for Azusa if we find a bounce land. Man, we've been really struggling with these land drops. Really, really struggling. Either Vial up to 4? Sure. Alright, I guess I don't have another turn. Well, there goes that. That was a game that we played. I mean, sometimes it's gonna happen like that, right? Like, your 31 land deck is not gonna find a bounce land. But anyway, see you next round. Okay, here we are for round number 2. This hand seems nice. So we can go turn 1 Gracer into Saga. That's a solid start right there. That's actually not bad at all, because that means that I can use the Saga to go get Amulet. Then I can copy the Amulet with Gardens, and then I will be able to use Expedition Map to find the Tolaria West that I'm missing here. If we are playing against creativity, it would be a great time to try my Metamorph deck. Well, it can't be creativity now that I think about it because they have the blue. They have blue fetches, so. Oh, this is Rhinos, I guess. Okay, so they're gonna ice my green source. Makes sense. I guess it could also be some sort of control deck. That's a Summoner's Pact. That one's pretty strong. I'm gonna play out the expedition map. The thing here is whether we want to... we're probably gonna be cracking it for Cavernous Souls, actually. Oh, the Fairy bounce my Saga. This is really good for me. Now I have a clean window to resolve Dryad. Wait, what? Okay. So now we float a mana. We find an Amulet. They could have Force. So now we're going to copy that one. Play a bounce land. Going to do some of this. Play that one again. And now we're going to have 6 mana, which is conveniently how much it takes to cast a Primeval Titan. Cast Prime Time, play Prime Time. The question now is whether we want to play around Solitude or not. I guess I'm going to. So I'm going to go Valakut and Boseiju. Oh, I can actually play around 1 Solitude, but I can't play around 2 of them. Never mind, I can actually go Slayer Stronghold plus... So what I was going to do is I was going to go Slayer Stronghold plus Boseiju. And then I was going to, because I have double Amulet, I can just pay for my pact if everything goes alright, and the Dryad just fixes my green mana for my red and white mana, so I can activate the Stronghold, which is nice. So we're gonna go +1 Boseiju, +1 Cavernous Souls, +2 Tireless Tracker, -1 Saga, -1 Gardens, -1 Gracer, and -1 Metamorph. When I was writing the Cyber Guide, I was kind of like trying to figure out, okay, should I cut some Gracers, should I cut some Metamorphs? I think that both of these cards are not particularly great. Obviously, blue-white control is not the matchup that I built the deck to beat. So I could see, keeping an extra Metamorph. The problem is, like, Metamorph doesn't really do anything. Like, it's going to be copying. If you resolve your Primeval Titan, you're probably winning already. So, like, I don't know what you're going to be really copying with Metamorph. Maybe, like, Amulets or something. But the Amulets are already pretty unreliable in the matchup, so... I think that's splitting the difference and just making sure that we are going to have access to a bunch of Gracers so that we are not falling too far behind is going to be just better way to try to set ourselves up for the matchup. So this hand is quite strong. I'm going to keep it. There are a couple of ways that we can go about this. I can play an Amulet on turn 1. That's what I want to do. Like, it has the highest upside. Obviously, it exposes the Amulet to Prismatic Ending, but I'm not sure that I care about that too much. If they also, blow up my Explorer, that's a disaster, of course. But as is, if my opponent wants to Prismatic Ending my Amulet, like, that's fine. Tracker is obviously going to be the name of the game this game. Next turn is certainly going to be an interesting one because we're going to be given the choice, right? Okay, so my opponent's holding up Counter Magic instead. So I'm going to play out this Explore. So we're going to play Explore, play Valakut, sorry. And then I'm going to Explore, see if that resolves. They does. Okay, so cool. So I'm just going to play Cavern on Human and pass the turn back. And now these trackers are probably going to do a lot of work. My opponent could have something like Aether Gust. Yeah, Cycling Shark Typhoon. Not the scariest thing I've ever seen. Technically, my opponent could be playing Blood Moon, and that would be pretty bad. Yeah, that just doesn't do anything at all. So, sure. So the only thing that's kind of annoying that this does is it makes it so I kind of have to play Sanctuary right now just to make sure that I have mana to crack a clue next turn. But besides that, so it also means that I don't get to, like, if my opponent answers this tracker, I don't get to reset this Cavern of Souls, which sucks a little bit. But next turn, I think I'm playing into a Wrath, so I can double the amount of clues that I get. Because the problem is, like, if I just try to bank on this tracker and my opponent has a Solitude, then I do get got. Okay. Point out the Unraveling Time. Chalice for 0. I mean, we do have Boseiju, so we don't care too much. Here's another tracker. And I think I am going to play out Boseiju anyway. Send the turn back. I guess we can really go off. Like, we can go tracker into Metamorph. That would be kind of hilarious. Maybe I should have cracked the clue main phase. Because now I played into Fire and Ice. So I'm not going to crack a clue now. So now we play another one of these. They could have subtlety here. Counterspell, sure. Counterspell resolves. Play Valakut. Triggers. I'm going to attack the fairy. And we're just going to continue playing around Fire and Ice because we can. So if I'm not using the mana, but if my opponent isn't using the mana, that's also great for me. When Tracker is good, it's really, really good. It's really, really fantastic. Okay, so here we're threatening cracking the clue, but like we just don't have to. Whew. Hey, look at that. That's another human. Play a land. Cast my human. More humans. So at this point, even if my opponent has Solitude, like I guess they would need double Solitude. But Fire and Ice obviously just doesn't do anything. Also, it's really cute that if my opponent does go for Solitude, we can just metamorph the Solitude to kill their Solitude. Replay this. We're going to play this cavern. We're just going to play on Giant. We have already successfully cast all of our humans. My opponent doesn't want to play the game anymore. All right, reasonable. All right, this is a fantastic example of a very easy mulligan right there. This is a fantastic example of not an easy mulligan at all. I do think this one is a keep, but I do think it's very close. So we can go turn 1 Saga. We're on the play. Turn 2, I guess we literally just pass the turn. And then turn 3 we go Dryad. I guess I want to cut the Grace. I want to bottom the Grazer. Obviously we do get punished if we're playing against something like, I don't know, a Monkey deck. But if we are not getting paired against Monkey, this is just a better line because it allows me to Expedition map. So map allows me to just pivot a little bit, just to hit my land drops and to like do something else. I may also, there's a world in which I just play Bounce Hand on turn 2, depending on what matchup I'm facing. Playing against Breeding Pool. So these days, this means Living End or Crashing Footfalls. Any land would be great here. Yeah, I'll take Boseiju for sure. This means that I get to play out Boseiju, not miss my land drop, which is a big deal. And now I also get to crack Expedition map. I think I'm getting a basic forest with Expedition map. We also get to play around Blood Moon very nicely here. We have to assume that my opponent is going to Fire Ice my land, but that's not going to change anything. So, crack map on end step. I think we are just getting a basic forest to play around main deck Blood Moon. So here they're probably going to Fire Ice. Yep, that's fine. Doesn't really do anything. Another Prime Time. Here comes an Amulet. Play Growth Chamber. We're going to bounce Boseiju. Play Dryad. Play Forest, say go. So now we have Blood Moon covered, and we have double Primeval Titan. Subtlety would be kind of annoying, but obviously very, very beatable. And I do think that I am going to develop my mana. So I'm just gonna, next turn, I'm just, assuming the Dryad doesn't get Furied or something, I'm gonna go Boseiju into Celestial Sanctuary, bounce the Boseiju again. Fire Ice would be kind of annoying, but I doubt that's what they're doing, so. Oh, well that's a card. So do I want to go all in? I mean, I just don't think I have to. I just can do this and make it really, really hard for my opponent to win. But now that I drew the Gardens, I'm going to bounce the Celestial Sanctuary again, as opposed to doing what I was planning on doing, which is to bounce the Boseiju. So here's a Primeval Titan. Mystical Dispute. That's right. That's a card that these decks are running now. Alright. Technically, I could have played around that by just doing nothing. The problem is if we do nothing, then my opponent puts 8 power on board. That's probably not great for me. But this coming turn, I think it's a little bit more likely that we're going to be able to just do our thing. The problem is if I do go for the Gardens line, we do get messed up by a Brazen Borrower. So it kind of depends on what we want or we do not want to play around. Alright, so opponent just passed the turn. I'm just going to do this here, force the issue. Because here we actually do get to play around Mana Leak. Okay. Like any form of interaction they could have with this, like with this board right here, means that they can't have Dispute up. So this seems fine to me. Gonna do this. Bounce the Growth Chamber. Play another Primeval Titan. Hardcast Subtlety obviously gets me, but And we just get to do this again next turn, right? Cycle Fiery Islet. I can beat that. Yes, my opponent agrees. Alright, so Rhinos. We're gonna want +1 Boseiju, +2 EE, and +2 Tracker. The trackers are very interesting in this matchup, and it kind of depends on how you want to approach it. I am currently approaching it as the Temur deck is going to really try to go after, like, they're going to really prioritize having access to Blood Moon and a Force of Vigor. Like, those are the cards that I'm expecting the most. So that's why I'm trying to play like a slower game. Obviously, they can just like, just Rhinos you and kill you, but that's why this is a bad matchup, right? So I'm going to cut the Sagas, and I'm going to cut one map right here. And that's it. There's also an argument for cutting one of the Metamorphs because they are very, very bad versus Force, but like also Expedition map is pretty bad versus Force, so kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Force is just good against us, let's just call it that. Okay, what do we got here? So this is a hand that loses to Force, but it's actually pretty solid against Blood Moon. So I think I'm going to keep. I am going to go turn 1 Amulet. Turn 1 Amulet, and then we're going to get to turn 2 the Dryad. The awkward part about this hand is the fact that we may get a little bit in an awkward spot because we need to bounce our Celestial Sanctuary, but I think that's acceptable. Okay, second basic forest is kind of nice. I think I am going to play into... I think I unfortunately need to do this because I do expect my opponent to have Blood Moon or something like that, so I need to make sure that I'm developing here. If they have Force, they have Force. It is just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. But I definitely want to play these want to play this before my opponent gets to hold up the other card, the Dispute. So even if they Blood Moon, we can transmute this T-West, which is nice. Petty Theft my Amulet. Well, that is fantastic news. That is absolutely fantastic news. Because that means that they don't have Force, right? Because if they did, they would have just forced both things. So that is really, really good news for us. The question is now, how do we want to navigate this? And I think the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to bait out the Force. But we do get to play around mana. Oh, okay, that's what I was going to pact for. But yeah, so play this Amulet. If they hardcast Force, this is just a massive success here. Yeah, that's great. So I'm going to play out this Dryad, and I'm just going to play out the Saga. But I definitely do not want to play out Teleria West because my opponent could have another Force of Negation. And if they do, I really want to make sure that I have a backup, Summoner's Pact. Having two basics, obviously it's a big deal here because it means that I can just pay for Pact, even if my opponent does have the Blood Moon. They could have hardcast Subtlety here, and that would suck. But I guess a bounce line would be a fantastic draw, because I can just ballot with them a bunch. Do I want to attack with one of these Dryads? I don't think so. I'm just going to lead on Summoner's Pact, and I'm going to see what my opponent does. So let's see if they have Force. They could have the Dispute, which would be awful for us. I guess I could also just go for Tireless Tracker. That's a way to play around Dispute. Am I doing that? I think so. I think I'm actually doing this now. I guess I should have tapped the Celestial Sanctuary there. This is also better for because it allows me to make a construct with Ursa Saga, and that construct is actually going to be pretty sizable. So if my opponent does Subtlety here, that's kind of fine. Okay, so Tracker resolved, meaning that I'm going to hit them a little bit and make a clue and just send a turn back. Next turn we do get to probably... I'm not going to attack into a potential Rhinos here. 4 mana. Do they have Boil? Am I about to get boiled here? Oh, Otawara. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's cool. You got me. Pass the turn back. They can tap out here. If they do, they kind of lose. So they do have to kind of kill this Dryad here. So that means that we make a construct. So Dryad dead. We're gonna get to pay for upkeep here. 1, 2, 4. Pay for upkeep. Amulet is the draw. Huh. Well, so I think we just make another construct here. And now we're gonna get Expedition map. Oh, we sided out map. That's true. This was our one saga now that I think about it. Totally forgot about that. Okay, pass the turn back. Maybe I could have swung with the construct. Yeah, I probably should have attacked with the construct, actually. Murktide. Just a 4/4? That's not super impressive. I mean, if I can hit some land drops here, I think I'll just take 6 here. Like, I don't think my opponent gets to raise here. They're down to 1 card. Phew, that's a draw. Like to play another Amulet of Vigor, please. And I didn't, I'm floating the mana first here. The reason is because of Mystical Dispute. Like, it's very unlikely that they do have it, but I am so insanely far ahead that I think that I can just afford to play around it. Like, I am basically locked at this point. So we're gonna shoot face, just lethal. All right, Rhinos down. All right, what an interesting hand. So we're on the play, so we can go turn 1 Saga, turn 2 Gracer, Vesuva, copy Saga. That seems quite strong. So that means I get to use Gardens to have 2 amulets, and then I can use the second Saga to go get Tolera West, and that's gonna give me enough mana to Primeval Titan. Huh, what a weird hand. Also, it's pretty funny how 3 of my lands just blow themselves up. Alright, turn 1 Saga, go. Alright, playing against Tron. Classic matchup. So let's go play Gracer. And I think now that I found another Saga, I'm just gonna play Natural Saga here. Because this entering the battlefield tapped actually helps me since I have multiple amulets. I guess since I will have multiple. Boros Garrison is quite a bad draw, actually. So I guess I'm going to float a mana. And we're gonna go for Amulet. And then we're going to copy. Then first land drop is going to give me some green mana. And now the second land drop is just gonna copy Saga. And I guess I might as well make a construct. No reason not to. And send the turn back. So there's plenty of things that don't matter here. Wormcoil Engine doesn't matter. Ugin obviously doesn't matter. Oblivion Stone doesn't matter. Karn the Great Creator could matter depending on what my opponent does. Karn Liberated could matter depending on what my opponent does. Let's see what they got. Just Karn. What do you want to kill? I don't think that was it. So now I get to kill the Karn here, which is nice. So Primeval Titan obviously wins. Okay, so we're still gonna be in hard mode here, but I think that we got it. So we're just gonna get Expedition Map, 2 mana to crack. Then we're gonna play a bounce land that's gonna make us 4 mana. We're gonna use one of those mana to Gracer. Yeah, we have to double Gracer. Oh, but we drew the Boros Garrison, which is very awkward. I think it's still fine. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to 20 my opponent, though. So I think we're just going to go for map here, play a green source, float some mana, bounce the green source, play it again. Also, we have used Vesuva, right? That actually does matter as well. So map 1, 2, 3 for Tolera West. Here we have 7 mana. We're going to need to use 1 for the Gracer. I'm trying to think if I can also make a construct, because that means I only need to activate Titan once and I can double strike but swing for 4. And that's going to be enough to kill them. So just being able to, make this construct actually does matter here. So this is going to be 6 mana, 3 of which I'm going to use to transmute. Then 3, 6, I get to get... I think I'm good here. I think I am good. So... let's transmute for Summoner's Pact. Play Arboreal Gracer. Yeah, I guess I can't. I can leave red mana floating. I mean, the fact that I had to use Vesuva is the brutal part here. So I don't have Vesuva, and I have the Boros Garrison in my hand. If the Boros Garrison were in my deck, this would obviously be very easy, but I still think I need to go for it. So I can leave white mana floating. And I guess get Boseiju plus bounce land. Yeah, okay, so I think this is what's gonna happen. So we're going to float a bunch of mana. I guess I might as well bounce this Saga here. Going to Summoner's Pact for Prime Time. Cast Prime Time, leaving white mana floating. Then get Stronghold plus Gruul Turf. Float some mana. Haste the Primeval Titan. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave the Stronghold in place. And I'm just gonna Boseiju my opponent's Urza's Mine, which is the one that they tutor for. This is going to kill the Karn Liberated. And I'm just gonna get Bounce Land plus Boseiju. Just a green Bounce Land plus Boseiju. And that means I get to pay for Pact. And then next turn I get to just attack with Primeval Titan and just double strike it. Yeah, I think that's the line. So go face, go to Karn Liberated, say yes, get Simic Growth Chamber and Boseiju. And now we bounce Boseiju. And I guess it's correct to just blow up the Urza's Mine in draw step. Just, yeah, pass the turn back, blow up the Urza's Mine, hope that they don't have another one. Because now if they have second Karn Liberated, it gets kind of awkward because my Titan is gonna get exiled, right? I do get to kill the Karn, but Titan does get... Oh, Spatial Contortion. I mean, it doesn't matter. They either have an answer to the Titan or they don't, right? So they have to complete Tron right now, which they don't, so now we just win. Karn Silex? Okay. That's not one you see every day. I guess like maybe this is a new thing in Tron or something. So we pay for Pact, and now we just Sun Home and kill them. Swing, get Sun Home, and I guess I'm gonna find Tolera West. Might as well. Float mana, double strike, swing for 12. Interesting. So I guess they're doing this instead of Oblivion Stone now. This seems so much better, so much worse actually. Activate only as a sorcery is such a brutal. Like I really was looking forward to trying this one in Amulet, like in the Karn Wish board, and just activate only as a sorcery is just a deal breaker straight up. Like it's so bad that just makes the card unplayable in my opinion. Okay, so we're playing against Tron. We're just gonna cut 2 Cavernous Souls, add 1 Boseiju, 1 Force of Vigor. This is actually a pretty good matchup for us overall. Point on the Jegantha deck, of course. This hand seems pretty good, so we're gonna keep it. So we're gonna go turn 1 Gracer into Saga, turn 2 Gardens, make a dude, I guess. It's pretty funny how just randomly, like these situations where you're randomly activating Saga to make a construct actually does matter, because it is a way to actually have pressure for your opponent's Karn. They could have Nature's Claim here, that would suck, but it is what it is. No Nature's Claim. Urza's Power Plant. It's a good draw. That is most certainly a good draw. So I think we go... Oh man, that's actually... that's a crazy draw right there. Yeah, I think I still do this because I don't want to get owned by Silex. Although Silex center stabbed, so maybe I should be just playing out the Amulet. I don't know, making a dude feels like it matters here. Maybe if they like Nature's Claim here or something. Ancient Steerings. Ulamog. That's scary. It would suck if we get Ulamogged. It would really suck if we got Ulamogged. It's not particularly likely that we get Ulamogged, I'll say as much. I will say as much. I will float a mana, make an Amulet, play another Amulet. I would like to copy another Amulet. I guess technically they could have Force of Vigor, but that is just unhappy thoughts. So we're gonna ignore those. Only thinking happy thoughts here. This is happy thoughts. Yeah, yes, this is happy thoughts. You love to see it. You love to see it. Okay, last round versus Jegantha Gamer. This hand is just not good enough. We can probably do better on 6. This is better. This is most definitely better. So we're gonna keep this one. And I think we're gonna bottom the basic forest. So now we can go turn 1 Gardens Amulet, turn 2 probably Valakut plus... We're facing a monkey, so that's a problem. That's very good draw. Very good draw. So hopefully this is Murktide and this is not... I guess it can't be Murktide. So this is just Jeskai Breach. So Prismatic Ending could be a problem. Oh, there goes my Titan. Would have loved to have drawn that one. So the interesting question here is, do I play out the Dryad here? Well, I guess I don't have to now. So we're gonna go Valakut. We're gonna tap for green, play Gracer. And now I guess I'm going to play out the map, pass the turn back. So next turn we can Gardens Copy Amulet. Oh, they got iteration. We can Gardens Copy Amulet, and What does that do? We have 5 mana, 9 mana. That's convenient. It's very convenient. No, not white mana. Don't fetch white mana. Okay, that's good. Lightning Bolt I can work with. Lightning Bolt mana is good. Just don't fetch white mana, okay? Gracer, not my Gracer. Don't use white mana. Don't Prismatic Aim in my Amulet. Don't do it. Oof. Alright. Okay, so copy Amulet. Play a bounce land. I guess that we would be playing into Spell Pierce. I don't think that we can play around it though. And I also don't think... Oh, never mind. That we have to use 3 mana. I'm an idiot. I'm miscounting here. Now we still have to transmute, so this actually doesn't work. Unlucky. Unlucky. We're in a crack map though. I guess I can just get another Gardens. Yeah, sure. I'll get another Gardens. I think that I just take the Ragavan hit, actually. As odd as that may seem. But blocking the Ragavan enables... Blocking the monkey actually enables Unholy Heat. Okay, there we go. They do have the heat anyway. So obviously if we draw Primetime, we just win on the spot. Take 5. Breach kills us, most likely. Because monkey already did a ton of damage. Another DRC. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's... So they do have lethal. Ugh, this is so awkward. They had exactly enough removal. Ugh. So I guess I have to transmute this turn and make a construct. So I can block the monkey. And I lose to any removal spell. So we're gonna do it like this so we can play around Prismatic Ending, I guess. But we lose to every other removal spell. There's actually not that many cards that they could have in hand that don't kill me. I guess more monkeys, more DRCs, more shredders. Those are the cards that kill me. Okay, that's one of the cards that doesn't kill me. Gonna make a dude. It's not like I have any other place. Holy Heat kills me, yeah. Okay, cool. So let's move over to sideboarding. We're gonna go +1 Bog, +1 Boseiju, 2 EEs, 2 Dismember, 3 Endurance. We're gonna cut 2 Caverns, 2 Sagas, 2 Metamorphs, Colossus, 1 Amulet, and 1 Map. Man, this Breach deck is so scary. So this hand is not heinous. I think I'm gonna keep it. It is a slower hand, but I think it plays nicely into my opponent's game plan. The only problem this hand has is that it's weak to a turn 1 monkey, unless I find exactly an untapped green source, which I do have a fair amount of, to be fair. So I, like all my Boseijus, all my forests, even my Cousin Garden counts. But like turn 1 DRC, I'm not super scared of. Turn 1 monkey, I am. That is good though. That's a Saga which I cannot afford to play, so we're just going to play Celestial Sanctuary here, bounce T-West, and pass the turn. So now we're going to next turn go Dryad into Ursa Saga. They have nothing? What the hell is their hand? Play Dryad, play Saga, and we're going to play Gracer, play Bounce Land. And I think I'm going to play Saga so I can play... I'm bouncing the Saga only so I can play around my opponent having Teferi. Or I guess technically something like Blood Moon, if they're playing that, which would be devastating. But if they're playing Teferi here... Oh, they are playing Blood. Cool, cool, cool. So we just have to find the basic forest now. So I am going to play the T-West, because we already have the answer to the moon. I mean, I couldn't have played around this anyway. But it makes sense that my opponent went, do nothing into do nothing, right? And now that I know that my opponent is actually running Blood Moons, usually I don't like Force in this matchup because it deals with specifically Breach, which is just not enough. But now that I know that they're also running Blood Moons, I am a lot more interested in bringing maybe like a copy or the copy of Force of Negation there, of Force of Vigor, sorry. Yep, send it back. We don't have too much going on. Shredder. Well, there goes my 2 damage a turn game plan. Really, that sucks. Okay, and this is what I always say about the Cyber Guide, right? Like I am cyberding, assuming something, and if you're playing the matchup and it looks like your opponent is doing something else than what I am accounting for, you should go with your gut and you should make the appropriate changes. Like for example, I don't think that Blood Moon is stuck in these lists. Because as you can see, like they're not, I mean, they are not very good at making other colors of mana. So I strongly recommend you take the guide with a grain of salt, right? Like it should be a guidance. It should not be the end all be all. So I think I'm gonna be taking 6 here. Funnily enough, like if we do find a basic forest this turn, I think that we're still pretty likely to win the game. Like very likely to win the game, actually. I would say basic forest. Ugh, it's not it. All right, so I'm gonna be taking what? 9 this turn? At this point, it may be too slow. Never mind, we're not taking 9, we're taking more. So Dashed Monkey wins, Lightning Bolt wins, Breach obviously wins. And at this point, this is just too much. I cannot win even if I do draw the forest. Sure, all right. Yeah, we got in that last game. Pretty unfortunate. I do think that this is overall a fine matchup for us. But, you know, obviously my opponent's draws were very, very strong. Well, that's it for me today, folks. Thank you so much for watching. As you can see, the deck is pretty good right now. It's just a good choice because it's... Well, right now, usually Amulet has a little bit of the affinity effect, or like the dredge effect, right? Which is, you know, when Max and Gardens was just printed, everybody was super like turbo focused on, you know, trying to beat the deck, and people were like jamming Force of Vigors in like 3 or 4 color decks and something like that. I did see stuff like that, which kind of blew my mind. So when you see that kind of stuff, obviously it's not a good time to play Amulet. But right now, I feel like the deck is just in one of the lulls right now, so like people are not trying to beat it super hard, so it's just a fine choice right now. You can definitely do pretty well with the deck right now, and I do think that the Metamorph tech is very good, particularly because it really fights the good fight in your bad matchups, right? Like we didn't draw the Metamorph a single time in this entire league. I think we drew it once. And it was like against the blue-white control deck, so like we were already so far ahead, didn't even matter. But it does something very interesting in that it makes your really bad matchups. It just gives you a very good tool in your very bad matchup. So I feel like that is something very important to do when trying to build your deck to win a tournament, right? So I think that I do like this list a lot. Again, you can find my Cyber guide in Patreon, or if you're a Twitch subscriber, you can also find it in my Discord. And that's gonna be it for me today, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button on the way out, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.